Good morning, Noah Road here, Stealth. Uh, I was since this is Noah's Stealth Camp Adventure 2025 live. I wanted to take my viewers through the steps of sustaining the stealth camp life, like under the radar, keeping everything together and juggled and under the radar. And stealth camping means just that. You're flying under the radar. You're on property that's not public and doesn't belong to you, so that tells you something right there. Um, I don't plan on staying here for a whole lot longer, maybe a week, maybe a few days. If I was really going to go stealth, and I want to make this clear, if you really truly want to be stealth, you can't be carrying in a iPhone. You gotta use a potato chip bag and get yourself a little sandwich bag, like a Glad sandwich bag. Put your phone in the sandwich bag, and then put the phone and the sandwich bag in a potato chip bag before you go into your stealth camp. And don't do any filming while you're on location under the radar in stealth camp. That obviously is not what's going on with me. So I'm doing this so I can document this. But if I wanted to go deeper into stealth camping, I would definitely not be filming in the exact location, because all you have to do is go Google Earth on your own phone in an area around where you're at, and you'll see a blue dot. Even if you're in a little set of bushes, it'll poke down, because all of these cell phones, they bounce off of cell towers. Okay, so I just wanted to make that clear. I'm not unaware of that, and if I was going to go deeper into a stealth camp experience for myself, I wouldn't be able to film it where on location. So I just wanted to set the record straight on that. I'm kind of taking a slight chance here. I mean, you got to be on the radar for people to start looking out for you like that. I mean, there's tens of thousands of phones in the area. I don't think they're just going to target somebody for no reason. So I'm taking a chance on that, and I think it's a pretty good chance. But anyways, I'm here at Stealth Camp, and one of the things you have to do to stay stealth and to keep this thing going, fly under the radar for as long as possible, especially if you're going to walk away from your camp and go into town and do things. You don't have to take the camp down all the time. You could do that. That's an option, but it's exhausting. You got to break down in the morning, and you got to stash all your stuff after repacking it, decide what you're going to take in a smaller bag into town, and decide what you're going to leave in the bigger bag that's going to be stashed in the woods underneath the tarp. That's an option, and I've done that, and I can do that. But the camps that I usually get are usually very stealth, and unless some contracting construction kind of crew comes in to cut the trees down while I'm gone, more than likely, this time of year especially, it's not hunting season, anything big anyway, probably I'll be okay. And I'm taking a gamble on that. I don't leave anything that absolutely could not part with. All the important stuff I take in a book bag with me whenever I leave stealth camp. But like I say, I'm going to be going through one of the steps that it takes to really remain stealth. And one of the protocols that you just have to do, and you have to keep up on this, is camouflaging your tent, the area where you're actually stealth camping. Because people could walk by and they can catch a glimpse of your tent, even if it's pretty well stashed. So you've got to take extra steps to make sure that the whole area is camouflaged, and you cannot expect to get it done in one day, and you can't expect it to be done once and then it just lasts, because you're using pine boughs, and you're using branches with leaves on it and stuff in order to kind of create this camouflage around your tent. The leaves especially, they wilt in 4 or 5, 6 days. So eventually you have to either replace them or kind of cover them over with fresh stuff. And What I'm doing today is actually creating almost an igloo effect around the entire tent, and that should do a pretty good job with keeping this thing stealth. It's pretty good as it is, but I'm going to do it, take it further for my own peace of mind, but also for the camera so people can see what I do when I'm out here stealth camping. Because there'll be a time where I won't be stealth camping, you know, with a phone. And I've been doing this for years. And with modern technology and these phones and everything, it's kind of interesting that I'm grabbing at mosquitoes, by the way. Um, I can, take people with me on this journey. So I've got certain things set in place right now to shorten the duration of time that it's going to take. I have to go into the woods and look for these things, like little bows and stuff, so that I can so I can make like a framework. First, you got to make the frame. We're going to igloo this thing. So it's going to have like an igloo has got that kind of round domey thing. I'm going to kind of like create a sort of dome effect, igloo effect around the entire tent. And I'm using like dead branches and stuff in order to have like fingers, and it kind of catches the leaves and other things that I might put up against it, and it'd make like a little bit of a wall. So anyways, this is just one of some protocols. Like I say, if you want to go really advanced and really deep into the stealth, you got to put your phone, either not have a cell phone with you like an iPhone or an Android, or put that sucker in a potato chip bag, because when you put it in a potato chip bag, they it doesn't bounce off of, or it doesn't ping off of any towers, because the tower signal cannot go through or can't penetrate the potato chip bag. So option A, don't have a phone, a cell phone, or option B, put your cell phone in a in a protected bag, of course, because there's oil and salt and stuff in potato chip bags. Then put that sucker in the potato chip bag and carry that into your stealth camp with you, and it won't be able to ping. The tower won't be able to penetrate to pick up a signal for you. So, anyways, I'm gonna go through I'm going to have. This is what I'm gonna do now. Okay. So I got this thing kind of set up already so that I can get started, and it won't. I'm trying not to break any limbs. All right. You see what's going on here? See how open that area is? Now versus this, I've been working on this today. Look at that. It's all iglooed. This is all like an igloo, isn't it? Now I'm going to kind of keep that effect going, and I'm going to cover that. Okay? I'm just putting my glasses aside. They're just reading glasses. All right. These kind of branches are great for the frame. You see all these fingers, how they fan out and everything? And you got to have them a little bit on an angle, and then you can start bunching up, you know, this kind of stuff. And get stuff from the bottom, a little bit deep. See, this is kind of moist. So you want that, and then you kind of put it up, and it just kind of holds in there, like it holds it up like this. And that's the effect. And then eventually you just keep creating more and more, and you just kind of make it out. You don't want it so thick to where it looks totally unnatural, but you want it thick enough to where from a distance, little bits and pieces, little natural looking openings. So here we go. I think what I want to do is lay it behind this, if I can, so it can have a little bit more lay down, and this can give it some depth, an illusion of depth, and it fits in like puzzles, like you make almost like tiles, or like puzzles, or like you're making a mosaic out of branches. I didn't like breaking that. I wish I didn't have to. like making a puzzle. All right, now let's see how this works. See these fingers? I want anything that can help. Okay. Look at all the available camouflage I have right here in this area. So building this stuff up. I want a little mixture of leaves too. Maybe a few sticks ain't gonna hurt. Like I say, it doesn't have to be so thick that it looks so unnatural. You want it to look a little natural, like from a distance. Wow. Cool. Alright. I mean, I'll work on that a little. I expect to get it done in a day. This is, I might spend a week or so before I get my wall of camouflage perfected. You know, and I might create different layers, like different depths. One that's kind of close, and then one that's like 20 feet away, and it'll be a little thinner. But yeah, I can create the illusion of depth if somebody was walking around in the woods. Got to protect ourselves from the evil humans. Isn't that sad? It really is. But anyways, I don't want to give my location like away, but I want to share how this is looking. So I'm going to keep the camera a little hemmed in. I might be a tad claustrophobic, but I just want to kind of show off. As you can see, it just doesn't show up. Pretty cool, huh? I mean, look at that. I'm only about, I'd say 20 feet away at the most. Now, I'll take you to the other side and show you a little bit of another type of problem that you got to keep up on top of this. You see, these are fresh, and these are very tough leaves. Not all leaves are created equal when it comes to camouflaging your stealth camp. You want really tough wood like this. That is some tough stuff there. Now, I could either kind of take some of that stuff off. See, I don't really want to move the frame because it's kind of up and tangled in there. But I don't want those darn those leaves to be showing so, I don't want them looking dead, you know, because then somebody could be tipped off. That doesn't look natural. So, I could just kind of keep this thing going. If you wanted to go the extra mile, you could take this stuff out completely. And let me see. And I mean, right here is right behind my. And I got the doorway of it. It's kind of cut out. It's almost domed in, sort of like, you know, that igloo effect. You see that? Now, I didn't do everything in the back. I could keep it going, but, you know, at one point you got to just say, look, I'm going to have to trust. I believe that God blesses our undertakings. So, you know, God helps those who help themselves and stuff. So, I mean, build up that spiritual energy that connects you to the God who protects. And keep your motives pure, because then you know I'm not running from anything bad. I just don't want anyone messing with me. You know? So anyways, here I'm refreshing that. You see that? See how nice that looks? Another tip. You see how I cut those, obviously. I cut these. A little cut, you know, with the saw. Right here. Whenever you cut a branch, make sure you dig into the ground somewhere here. Take a little thing and smudge that part that you cut. because that makes it look like it's an old cut, could be a year or two, whatever, and a landowner who might be walking by or not is not going to be ain't going to make his mind go, oh, who's camping out in here? Let me scope my property out now. Another thing, you've always got to keep an eye out for cameras. Another thing, you see this, it's really good for two reasons: to camp with a canopy of, forest over your head. Two reasons: it slows the rain down, less likely for it to kind of like the waters to rise too fast. But two, if there was ever a landowner that wanted to kind of fly a drone over his property or something like that, there ain't no way he's seeing through that at all, unless he's got infrared. Now, if you're worried about infrared in the future, get yourself one of those weather blankets. And I don't think that you might want to check on this, but I don't think that infrared would go through the. I don't think it could penetrate a weather blanket because of the material of the weather blanket. It reflects your body heat in, so you could always lay one of those over the top of this when you go to sleep at night. So even if the military was flying overhead with an infrared um, drone, as long as you had a decent amount of like that, look at that. No, nothing's going to penetrate that, but infrared would. But as long as you have, you know, uh, the canopy of trees over your head, and as long as you take maybe one of those weather blankets and you can just drape it over your tent, because usually those kind of drones go out, they'll set them up at night, and it might get a tad hot, but you can do it. So that is something you might want to keep in your bug out bag, is one of those weather blankets. They do not work that great for weather. I'm telling you, you'll freeze so fast with those things, but they do work for infrared. And that's something you might want to keep in mind with stealth camping. And like I say, that potato chip bag, I have a potato chip bag. Obviously, this camp, it's too late for that. But, if I really wanted to go stealth and not communicate with anybody, the whole point of this journey, at least part of the point, is to communicate with people and show people and take them through the steps that I take. And this is how I've been doing it. And to reveal some stuff that's going on in my mind, about this stuff and how I survive and how I think and so forth. Another thing, how I say to make sure you smudge like this, you go into and you smudge the cuts. Make sure before you touch your eyes that you wash those fingertips off, because rabbit poop and deer poop, honest to goodness, it has parasites in it. And people have just dug around in the dirt a little bit in the wild, and then, inadvertently touch their eyes. You never think anything of it. And all of a sudden you got worms growing on in your eyes. So you've got to think about stuff like this, a lot of it. You've got to have real honed in situational awareness. Okay? So, shoot. Yeah, that's just my little daily update, my little daily hello. Things are going good this year. I mean, 2025 or Stealth Camp, NOAA's Stealth Camp Adventure 2025 is off to a great start. I am cautiously optimistic. I mean, it can all, run amok pretty quick, you know what I'm saying? I'm flying under the radar here, and, anyways, I just wanted to say that and wish all of you a wonderful, a wonderful year. And Chris, my friend Chris, who keeps up with me, he's down in Australia, so it's kind of wintertime down there, I believe. So I hopefully he'll have a wonderful spring when that rolls in his neck of the woods. All right, and I want to wish, in case you're listening, my friend. I don't know if you are, but uh, I know that Friday the 13th, today's Friday the 13th, and that there's a special day for my friend, the Angry 80s guy, and the Killer Kitchen household. I want to say happy um, Friday the 13th, my friends. All right, and I want to say God bless, happy trails and happy camping, and Noah Road over and out for now.